that my own narcissism was leading me to narcissists.
Ooh.
I'm saying it. My own narcissism was leading me to narcissists. And I will say that. And I was doing the most. I had the blonde weave, honey. I had my convertible BMW. I was a lawyer. I had my 6-figure salary and all of my stuff together. And I thought that was what was attracting the person I wanted to be with. And on paper, I was looking for the me that was the analog on paper. I wanted that dude that was, whatever. All of those things that it seemed like what I was putting out in someone's face, I was looking for that to be put in my face. And that was what I was measuring people by, not how they treated me. Because when I got that, what I was looking for on the outside, the way they treated me was like I was nothing. Because that wasn't how they were measuring me. I was a trophy that they put on the shelf because I made myself a trophy.
Ooh.
I made myself a trophy. And if you know anything about trophies, they're hollow.
Ooh. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
What's that sound? Will the merry bells keep ringing? Happy holidays. I never know the words. Like Patti LaBelle when she didn't know the words to the song.
It doesn't matter though, right? And like if you do we know, but the autoresponder is on.
The autoresponder is on.
What is your autoresponder message for this week?
Welcome to We Are Out of Office with Jane and Nikki. And my out of office reply today is I meet people where they meet me.
Boom. And where should people direct their further correspondence or their further inquiries?
I don't know, but just meet me where I'm.
Somebody else
just meet me where I'm at.
Well, okay, so I wrote mine out. I feel like this is the autoresponder that like people
really want to say.
Wish that they could put together, but actually can't because they might get fired. Thank you for your request. If just this one little thing you're asking me to do was actually easy for me, I would have done it already.
Boom.
Especially if I had more resources. Please direct your difficult or under-resourced request to 2025 or later. Thank you.
You're like, I am like Sway, and I don't have the answers. So
I don't have the answers, Sway.
Yes, that is a very appropriate out of office response, especially with this year.
Girl.
Anyways. Well, you look fantastic as usual. I love the color palette. I don't know how we keep doing this, but we're very complimentary with our colors.
I know, we're
without
aligned.
even trying.
We're aligned.
These earrings, please tell me, what is that?
This is
Where did you get them?
Zara Circa on sale. And this is what I'm experimenting with, this look. So for those who haven't watched the video, again, all of our videos are on YouTube or will be. But I'm doing this cascading pendant earring look to complement my hair and also to substitute for the fact that I'm not wearing a necklace. So,
okay.
So you pick one kind of accent.
The chesticles look great, though.
The chesticles are chesticking.
They're ready to go.
I know. They're the
How
bosom
can I
is
help you?
The bosom is bosoming.
That's what it's saying.
I
wish
I tried to contain them.
I'm very envious of your cleavage.
But you know what? I feel like I was a solid B cup in my younger years, and in my mind, I still am. And then so like this whole new like the land of being a C cup or what? And somebody told me that wasn't a C. It's like somebody told me I was like a D cup.
It looks
now.
like a D cup.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm in denial. The D is denial. And I'm in denial. So that's why I think I'm just like...
Because I'm like, girl, you are not a C cup.
I think I'm an itty-bitty committee, and I'm evidently not.
No, you are large and in charge. You are large and in charge. And I love it.
I love that for all of us. I love that for me and everyone else.
I love it for your boo.
I know.
I'm sure your boo loves it too.
He evidently.
Okay, stop Nicole. Okay, go back to the
earrings.
The earrings.
The earrings were meant to be like an accent piece, but obviously I have other accessories. But the earrings for me, like I was like, okay, let me try this because I was wearing my hair pulled back and, quick get ready. So these are the pendant earrings. I'm going to keep working with this experiment to
I like
see.
them. They're very, very pretty.
Yeah, I like them, and I haven't worn them before because I was intimidated by them. But then necessity, braids.
Yep. Zara they have really good jewelry pieces.
Yeah,
I've been
don't sleep on Zara's jewelry.
No, don't sleep on Zara. I've been finding a couple. There's one that's like a scorpion. That's like a wrap around your neck that looks like a scorpion on your neck.
Yeah.
So you wear it right behind your neck.
Okay, I know what
and
you
the
mean.
stingers on the left side and the claws are on the right side.
Super cool.
And it's like I think it has gems for eyes or something.
That sounds amazing.
Very, very, very pretty.
Well, for listeners, the earrings I'm wearing are cascading flowers, and they check the video.
Yeah, we'll put a link.
Yeah, we'll put a link.
If it's still available.
I don't even think these are. I got all these a long time ago.
Oh yeah, no, they don't got it.
I literally sat on them I'll buy stuff and sit in it for like a year.
Same.
Or 10 years.
Same.
Who knows?
My mom,
storage.
I learned that from my mom.
Mine too.
It's a just in case kind of habit.
Seriously.
That I really had to break out of. Well, I'll talk about it later.
Anyway.
Because I can't just be just in case in everything. Because I literally, when it comes to clothes and jewelry, I literally will buy stuff and it will be in my closet for years as a, just in case I'm invited to a Met Gala.
Right. Which you will be.
Yes, claiming it.
Yes.
This gown will suffice.
I know. I have a wedding dress in my closet that I got when I was 12. I might have been like 16 or 17. I don't even know. It was like one of those
when you were a B cup.
I know.
So it's not going to work.
I was like, Dad, we should get this now because
and
I was a teenager in high school. My dad bought it. It's still in my closet at my dad's house because I was a teenager and I was like, yeah, I'm going to need this.
Did you? What? So you just bought this dress from like a boutique and was like, I'm going to need it.
It's like that. It's that deep.
Okay, so you could actually, because again, you're not a B cup. You can repurpose that outfit potentially.
I mean, I need to do something with it because it's so. Every time I go home and I look in my closet from
that wedding dress.
I see that wedding dress. I'm like, what was I doing?
Hilarious.
Anyway, you look amazing. By the way,
Thank you.
The waves are waving.
Yes, my hair is a little shorter. I decided to do like
cute.
a lob. Not a lot, but like
it's very cute.
It's just short. It's
very
shorter.
Cute.
I'm very pleased.
Well, you look fabulous. And the mattification, your matte game is like top notch.
It's because of the setting powder that I found.
Is it baking? I've just learned that concept.
It's that
you bake it.
You bake it.
You put your foundation and then the powder bakes it so that you're matte. Okay.
I think it's Huda Beauty. Anyways, I went to Sephora and I said I need a setting powder to like really set my makeup. And it's changed the game. And I also have, I think personally, perfected my day contour and my night contour.
Okay,
so now I contour my nose and then my cheekbones. And so I feel like I finally have my makeup routine together. Yes.
When we get our stuff together, like when we really master this whole media thing, because by the way, if you're listening, this is like our 5th episode and we have no idea what we're doing.
Still don't know.
but we're having a wonderful time. Hopefully you are too. But when we get it together, we should do like a makeup tutorial.
You know what? We should.
That would be fun. You teach me, I teach you.
Oh, yes.
When whatever your best tricks
because your lash game, I still think.
My lash, okay, I have a new trick for lashes.
Okay, we'll
I agree.
We'll do that for a separate episode.
Girl, today I was like, the lashes are lashing. And it took me 2 minutes.
But speaking of makeup, the reason why this is all happening is because my We See You girl this week is to a young woman named Golloria George. I think that's her last name. She is this beautiful content creator who has made it her job to call out makeup companies that are not as inclusive when it comes to shades, right? Or thinking of darker melanated sisters when they're creating these
more
blushes.
richly melanated
beauties.
Yes.
It's her especially. I think I think her family's from Sudan or she's Sudanese. Immigrated here when she was a young kid, young woman, but literally has been changing the game. And I thank her because she is the reason why I've been learning about so many brands.
Right.
She's the one that's been encouraging me to, try color. Because
your
usually
skin is gorgeous. You could wear any color.
Thank you very much. But traditionally, society will tell you to stay away from color.
Oh no, you have to rethink
Don't do the color.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And she's like my my little sister who's like, ooh, you should try this. You should try this. You should try this. Like I in my head. And The reason why I want to big her up, because she's been getting a lot of flowers. And I think because all the work that she's been putting into calling these companies out has actually paid off, literally. She was on Forbes 30 Under 30. She was in the Hollywood Reporter. She was People Magazine's Beauty Content Creator of the Year. She was, I think she was on Rolling Stone. She'll probably be on another list by the end of the year.
She'll be on another list.
By the time you hear this. But kudos to Golloria George. Like she's just so awesome. And I really hope that her future includes a line, a product line.
Yeah.
Because she's been calling people out, companies have been
changing.
But we need to responding to her. For real.
We need to rethink the whole thing though. Because what I've realized, and I hope people are starting to realize, is that a lot of these standards and a lot of the way that people are thinking about and think about shades. And I used to run a skincare company with a color line, and I had an amazing experience working with the formulator there, which I will talk about another time. But one of the things I learned is that a lot of times with the darker shades, they're just repurposing the lighter shades.
Right.
And that is not the same thing. The way that color, the light hits melanated skin, it hits very differently from lesser melanated. So things need to be completely rethought. And there's a huge opportunity for creators, for creative minds, for melanated people or people who care about melanated people to rethink the entirety of how shades and color are done, because it's really the way it's done. Even when you have a darker shade, it is done darkening something lighter.
I mean,
we need to think completely different.
Yeah, there was a company that literally she called out. It was paint.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like, they didn't even try.
Yeah.
But then there are other companies like Tier. It's a South Korean brand, or just a regular Korean skincare brand, who she was like, this is not inclusive. And sure enough, 2 months later, they responded with an inclusive color that she tried and that I tried that are fantastic. So someone who has to mix 3 different foundations to get this. I really hope Golloria gets the opportunity to create a product line because we need more. Yes, we have Rihanna, we have Pat McGrath, we have House Lab. House Lab is very inclusive. We need more.
Yeah.
So shout out to Golloria George.
And we need more with different perspectives, because the colors that you see on the shelf are from a perspective of whoever formulated and created it. And we need more perspectives because they give us different options. And one thing might work for you from one perspective, whereas you still might need, something hasn't been invented yet that's going to be like the thing that you really want it to look like, you know? So, and so little attention has been paid to melanated skin like ours that there's a whole world of invention that still hasn't even happened. So that's exciting for me, and to hear the things that are happening now, and it makes me think, oh my gosh, there's so much more to come.
Yes.
So shout out to
Golloria.
To Golloria. Well, my shout out, I see you, girl, is Gabby Thomas. So there was an interview I saw. I don't know if it's new or old. Put it in the show notes. But she was talking to Gail. Oh my God, I can't think of Gail's last name.
Gail King?
Gail King, of course. She was talking to Gail King.
Is this Gabby Thomas the hurdler?
Yes,
the runner?
The Olympian.
Okay, the Olympian, like the gold.
200,
yes, the gold medalist.
Women's gold medalist.
You know, this was her first
champion.
Olympics, and she like won all of them gold.
Okay, well, let me tell you what she said in this interview. So she said that, Gail was asking her, you know, how did you think about winning, and what was your mindset? She said, I thought about winning. In fact, I visualized it every day. In fact, I took out my notes app on my phone and I wrote, I am the Olympic world champion every single day. And all I did was visualize myself winning. And she said it was mostly mental. And she was like, as long as I could see myself winning,
amen to that.
Everything else would follow. And she's like, so I just focused on visualizing myself winning. She's like, and making myself believe I was the champion so that reality could meet me where I already was.
That's it.
And I was like, girl, I see you. Thank you for that. So I actually came across so much good content this week on social, like
you did.
Videos.
You forwarded me some great
I'm like, my
stuff.
feed is, I'm like, I must be vibrating in the right way because my feed is just delivering.
What I'm telling you with raising your vibrations.
But yes, raising your vibration.
The algorithm changes. I don't have anything toxic on my timeline.
Do you mean social or do you mean life in general? The whole algorithm.
The whole algorithm has changed.
All of life.
In IRL and on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely.
The whole algorithm changed.
Honestly, it did.
I love that.
I think it's very important. Again, the world is, we know it's doing its thing, but every day, like I think I may have said this in the last one or I've said this, I don't know, but I've told you this, like every day I wake up meditating, visualizing, gratitude journaling, changing the way that I'm affirming myself every single moment.
Ooh, how you speak to yourself. Tell yourself how beautiful you are because you are beautiful.
Amen to that.
Yes, girl.
But literally it's every moment, throughout the day, from the moment I wake up to the moment I hit my head on the pillow, I am affirming myself. I'm saying mantras like, opportunities will come to me.
Yes.
I will, the right people will come to me. I will interact with the right people, like those kinds of mantras. And I just say that every single, I say it multiple times every single day.
You reminded me of another video I saw, which I'll put that link in the show notes also, which was so powerful this week. This woman was saying that anytime something goes wrong, she gave a formula. And I'm going to probably not do it full justice, but she was saying that if anytime something goes wrong, you immediately should switch into this formula of saying, this is happening for me. This can only serve me. I am fine. I am safe. Everything is working exactly as it should.
Amen.
And there's an opportunity in this moment
that
I will find, or something like that. I'm basically paraphrasing.
Please put that in. Share that to me.
It was a
Please
formula.
Share that with me,
no, it's
and then
every
put
time.
It in the show notes.
Yeah, and I was like, but it's exactly right. And I try to do that just to say, okay, if something seems like it's not working, to remind myself in the moment, everything is working as it should. This is serving me. This is meant to serve me. I am safe. I will be safe. And I will find out how this benefits me shortly.
I like to say that things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you.
Exactly. but in the moment, I realize that how your brain processes uncertainty, doubt, moments of just uncertainty, like how your brain fills that space, it determines what your experience will be. Because some people's brains fill spaces of optimism. Fill spaces of uncertainty with optimism. Like, oh, everything's working out for me. And then some people fill it with doubt or, all of the things that could potentially be going wrong.
That's right.
And they're catastrophizing. So I think it's just a matter of trying to put your mind into that space of positive expectation. And going into 2025, figuring out, especially, we need to protect our mental health, protect our joy.
Okay.
So whatever formulas,
including listening to this podcast.
Amen. Yes, if you're listening to this and you like it and you haven't passed it on to 10 of your friends, that's what you should do right now.
Yeah, because this is, I like to think we are very joyful women.
I love our episodes. I've listened to a couple of them more than once and didn't mean to, but I was like, I couldn't press stop. I was like, I like this.
Right? We forgetting it's us.
I forgot it was us. I was like, this is what I really want to hear.
So what are you on right now, by the way?
Oh my gosh. What I'm on right now. New segment. Yeah, got a little jingle. I am on right now realizing, okay, because this is not the time we talk about TV shows, right?
Well, it's whatever you're on right now.
Okay, well, what I'm on right now is realizing, this is a theme for today, that everything is not easy for everybody. And things that look easy aren't easy all the time. And if they were easy, they would have done it, or it would have been done. You know what I mean?
Preach.
So like people will look at something that, and this is a conversation about personal boundaries. And realizing
what I
can do and can't do. And I think going into 2020, because I'm doing a lot of introspection about where I want to be with 2025. And I think some things on the surface might look easy, for people observing me and me observing others. But I'm realizing the reality is if it was easy, you would have done it.
Yeah.
If it was easy, I would have done it. What easy thing that you could do have you not done? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just if it's super easy, if it takes 2 seconds, it was super quick, it's super easy, you would have done it. So I think we tend to look at other people. I think other people tend to look at us and presume that something would be easy for us based on their perceptions of us.
Right.
But if it was easy, we would have done it. And my other thing that I'm realizing that certain things are easier when you have more resources. And as Black women in particular,
boy, is it.
We are under-resourced. So a lot of times things are actually harder that should be easier because we should be paid more. We should have more resources. We should have more support. We should have more of a lot of things.
Yeah.
So what people think is easy for us to do isn't necessarily easy. And so you should not feel guilty about saying no if you don't want to.
Like, okay, so like it's really easy for me to spend money. And I realized that. And so I was listening to, what I'm on right now is actually, listening to these podcasts about wealth management, generational wealth, financial literacy, all that jazz. And when it comes to, when you say resources, you're absolutely right. If you don't know how to do something, some of those things are not naturally going to come to you, right? So this podcast I was listening to, it's a part of a series called, it's a podcast called The Diary of a CEO. And the host had a guy named Jaspreet Singh on it. And he has a podcast himself. His whole thing is like, I want people to change or do away with the traditional views of finances. Like the idea that the quickest way, well, that is true, but the only way to generate wealth is to buy a home. Yeah. Right. He's like, if you're under 45, do not buy a home.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad somebody said that.
He said the loud part, or he said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
So there are many takeaways from this podcast episode. It's 2.5 hours. I'm still going through it.
Link in the show notes.
We'll include in the show notes because he has some takes. But the one thing that I really appreciated hearing from him is this idea of like, how do you set yourself up for success? How do you get yourself out of the financial danger zone, which is being in a mountain of debt and not having an emergency fund? And so he has a really easy tool that's like 75, 15, 10. 75 spending, 15% investments, 10% in saving. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, because I want to save. Yeah. Right? And I've been doing it, but I've been feeling guilty because I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing enough. Turns out I'm doing just fine. But hearing someone break it down like that so easily was really great for me to hear. And I think that if more people were aware of things, to your point, they would realize that it's doable. Yeah. But it's not as easy. Right. It takes some work. And you shouldn't be walking around judging people anyway.
You shouldn't be. But
so
I think a lot of the things we do have to do with either avoiding judgment or trying to check off boxes for other people. And one of the things that I guess I'm on a lot of things that I've forgotten that I'm on. But one of the things I'm on is tax planning and 401ks. Yeah. And pre-tax investment accounts. Yeah. And one of the things that people, when you said debt, that I've been thinking about is being smart about how you're utilizing your money and paying down debt. You can, and think about assets that you're building. The asset that you should be building and focused on, not a house necessarily, but a 401k. Because what that does is that you should be maxing that out to the fullest extent, even before your savings. Every year, because that is pre-tax money that you're able to put away.
That's right.
But more importantly than that, you're able to borrow from.
That's right.
You have created a fund from which you can lend to yourself. The income stays tax-free as long as you pay it back, I think within 5 years. Yep. So if you are going to pay down debt, you should be contributing to your 401k first, loan that money to yourself, pay the debt down, then pay yourself back.
That's right.
Then it goes right back into your 401k.
See what I mean?
So these are things that we don't think about because and if you have a home, you're going to have expenditures that, there's things that you can leverage your home for to get money. But once you have to pay out to maintain your home and other things like that, that's not tax deductible. And you don't ever see that money again until you sell the house.
So, that kind of knowledge is important, but you have to seek it out. Mm-hmm. And it has to come from the right resources.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I've been studying that. So I thank you for bringing that up because I actually forgot because I've been so immersed in it, but I have really been focused on studying 401k, health savings accounts, all of those things that manage how I'm allocating my money during the year so that I'm being smart about how the tax code says I should be allocating my money. And then from there, making decisions about how I pay down my debt, how I make decisions about assets and investment.
Right.
And the things that are conventional, especially now in LA, buying a home isn't necessarily the wisest investment.
It's not my goal.
It's not mine either.
Definitely, I've decided that buying in LA.
I just said this to my dad.
Yeah, I'm not buying in LA. I'll buy elsewhere, but I'm not doing this.
Girl, we need to find a compound somewhere.
Yeah. In Portugal.
Okay, well, I was thinking Spain, but we can negotiate.
Yes, we'll have sister houses. I'll have one in Portugal, you have one in Spain, because they're right next to each other.
We're close.
See what I'm saying?
Okay, we're close.
We'll talk.
And I have one more I'm on right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because what else you got?
So I don't know if I talked about the bilingual brain.
Oh, no. You mentioned it in another, I think last week.
Did I?
You briefly touched on it. But
did I talk about my Duolingo
No,
app?
Not the Duolingo app.
Okay. So long story short, I'm fluent in French. I speak Spanish proficiently. Mm-hmm. But what I'm realizing is that because there are brain benefits to language, the best asset I have on my phone is like spending 10 minutes a day on language on Duolingo. So I'm learning German.
Oh.
And I'm learning Portuguese. My books have been translated into Portuguese, and I've done interviews with a translator in Brazil. So they're released in Brazil.
All right, Miss Worldwide.
But, I'm trying. Look, we need to expand more territories 2025. But I really wanted to be able to say more than obrigada, which is thank you
right.
in Portuguese. And so I'm like, let me learn that this positively impacts my brain and let me continue to grow in this way. So yes, I spend 10 minutes, just as I'm scrolling on social and doing all these other things, I spend 10 minutes feeding my brain with my Duolingo app.
I'm
sure there's many other apps, but do you have Duolingo?
I do. I've tried Duolingo. There's a Pimsleur thing that I tried. I just need to have the discipline. And I think that's something I'm just going to have to add to my day-to-day when I think about 2025, because I've gotten the meditation down, I've got the gratitude journaling down, and the mantras and affirmations, and my supplements and the skincare and the makeup. I should just add language in there because my family's from West Africa, a country called Benin, and they speak French there.
Oui, oui.
And I can understand French.
On peut parler français si tu veux.
Je parle un petit peu.
Okay, c'est bon.
So
we're saying, I said you can speak French if you want, and she said I speak a little bit.
Just un petit peu.
Okay, c'est bon, mais je te comprends, c'est bon.
Emphasis on the peu.
And I told her that I understand her, so it's fine.
But I know my mom's native tongue is Fon, so I speak it and understand that.
Oh, well, now what is that a mix of?
It's not. It's really specific.
It's a
dialect.
Okay.
But there's it's interesting because there's this other language called Gain that I can also understand because it sounds like
Say
to
something.
me. Now you put me on the spot. I can't do that. But it sounds like a southern version of Fon that I could also understand. Okay, so I can say like, "How are you? Good morning." It'll be like "Fon Gabby." So that basically means. Have you woken up well?
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Well, that's what I love about language. So I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I wanted to hear what it sounded like. Yeah. And then also, I love the way that different cultures have their greetings because, like, it is a reflection of the mentality
of that specific
and did you
culture.
Wake up well?
Yeah.
Is hello.
Have you woken up well?
Have you woken up well?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
So... now I need to go back. Okay, great. Now I know what to do now. So let's go into Jesus Take the Wheel.
Yes.
I think, look, I'll be very brief. I'm sure if you by this point, if you're listening to this episode, you've probably already seen the kid that went a little nuts in Walmart. And if not, I'll explain. So there's a video of this child who's just throwing food around the store. She's throwing bottles. She's making a mess. Everyone's standing around doing absolutely nothing. We don't know where the mother is. Two women I'll call them Diane and Doris, who took it upon themselves to touch this little girl and proceed to manhandle her. And then you hear Auntie Sharon in the background being like, don't you touch that person's child. You don't know whose child that is. You better leave her alone, which I can co-sign. But this is the thing. Clearly the child is going through something. Mm-hmm. Why would you bring her into a public place if you know she might potentially do this? And I'm judging.
You should judge.
Because I have a child. She's 6. She's wonderful. And I'm not saying that because I'm her mom, but she truly is wonderful. And my husband and I are very, 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 very aware of how people can judge us. Mm-hmm. So Lisbon is very well behaved.
Yeah.
Okay? Like she did one tantrum and she learned her lesson. She was like 3. She was like, I'm going to try, and I'm not going to do that again because it didn't work. I tried it.
Okay, no.
Didn't work. Mm-mm. So I understand. I feel sorry for the young girl because she looked like she was like in a zone and she wasn't there, all the way there. And I feel so bad for her. But I'm also looking at her mom or whoever the woman was that was like, don't touch her. She's going through some things. Okay, why are you in a Walmart?
Right.
Why are you in a Walmart?
And why are you allowing your child? Somebody's to clean that up. So if it's not you, somebody's going to pay for that.
This girl created.
If it's not you, who's that going to be? I think that people don't really internalize the fact that what they're doing or how they want to push the boundaries of society. Mm-hmm. I don't think they realize how that impacts other people. Somebody had to, when I was watching that video, I just kept thinking, somebody's got to clean that up.
Same.
And maybe that's their job, but that's not their job. That's not what their regular job is. So you allowed this to happen, and then who did you think was going to pay for it?
Exactly.
And I mean pay for it in terms of cleaning it up. I mean paying for it in terms of the goods that were lost.
Yes.
Who did you think was going to pay for it? And I think that's a question that we need to ask ourselves just more in general. Like, who do you think is going to pay for this? Because somebody's paying for it. Oftentimes, it's Black women.
Yes. But because it's not monetarily, it's also with time. It's also, someone may have been triggered by seeing her act the fool in the store as well. So I just really was like, this is definitely a Jesus take the wheel. By this point,
Jesus is driving because I'm like, the car is is swerving, honey. Like I'm like, in fact, just let me out.
I'll get off here. Thank you.
I will take an alternate mode of transportation because at this point, this is wild. But I think we all just need to take a collective woosah at this point.
That girl needed a collective. She looked like she was going through it. So that's my Jesus take the wheel for the moment.
Well, I don't have a Jesus take the wheel, and it's only because there's just too many things. So all I have to say is mind your joy and raise the vibration. That is my Jesus take the wheel this week.
Seriously.
I think I have less specific things and more, I've been very introspective this week. I think it's more insights. So at this point, I really just want to keep reminding people listening, because I'm saying the things that I'm reminding myself about, is that in these times, we really have to mind our vibration and our joy. And if it's too much, it's too much. Like, dial out.
And that's okay.
And Jesus take the wheel can sometimes mean just get out the car.
Well, speaking of introspective, let's go on to what's good.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Jamie Foxx's special last night.
I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait.
I'm not going to, because you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say much. But I will say that oh my gosh, I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it.
Oh, that must be just really good.
It was, wow. Okay, let me walk. Oh,
I see you tearing up.
That man has been through it.
Yeah.
And The special was very, oh my God. Well, okay. It was.
I can feel the emotion from here. I'm like.
Because it was part, I don't want to give it away. It just, I've never seen someone so vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like that. Like a celebrity like that. So incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
And he lays it all out there. And I am very grateful.
The tears and the mattification, though. I mean, your makeup is a moment.
Your makeup is.
I mean, the tears are streaming down your face at this point, and your makeup is still good, flawless, amazing.
Thank you, Huda Beauty.
This is a beautiful cry that we're having.
Thank you, Huda Beauty. It is.
Nicole is crying beautiful.
You're like, girl, this makeup is working.
Nikki, girl.
But it was it was beautiful to watch. And I hope people appreciate it the way that I appreciated it. Mm-hmm. It just speaks to what we've been talking about. And I think the experience that he had with the medical emergency that he had and how he is now, it is very clear that the Jamie Foxx that we knew, he's still funny.
Yeah.
He can still sing. I was crying not only of connecting with him, but also with laughter. But he is a different man, and we love to see
beautiful.
it. So that's my what's good this week.
Well, my what's good this week. Okay, first of all, there's Later Daters. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to watch that series.
I loved Later Daters. I don't know what it is about watching old people do stuff.
Well, it's so much more interesting because they have so much more life experience and they have much more to factor in. You know, watching 20-year-olds with like The Bachelor, I think that's fine and good, but that immaturity and sort of that naivete doesn't really bring me anything other
it's all
than,
through that.
You know.
It's just entertainment.
Yeah, it's just entertainment. But this was meaningful. And I feel like there were life lessons.
Yes.
It's the same thing where people are like, oh, I typically read nonfiction. They don't read fiction. And then thinking, okay, here you need a book that has a soul to it.
Yes.
Where you can actually, no matter whether it's fiction or nonfiction, that you can get something for your life out of those pages as opposed to just having mindless hours of entertainment. And I think Later Daters is that moment where there's a soul to it, and
100%.
you're getting your life, get your life,
and several of them did.
Okay. It would you? I mean, yes. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely something to watch. But what I have been watching this week that I was like, yes, why did I wait so long? Is Dune on HBO.
The movie?
No, the series, honey.
Oh, I haven't seen the series. I have a friend that worked on it too, and she was like, "You need to watch it." And
it's amazing. Sarah. It's amazing, and it's the Bene Gesserit with the voice because I love them from the original Dune movie that I think I watched 900 times. But I thought that you had to watch the two movies, the two Dune movies, before you watch the series. You don't. You can just watch the series and start. So I really believe that you had to watch the movies before you started, and that's what took me so long.
Yeah.
But it's giving very much Game of Thrones, except the dragons at this point are women with supernatural powers. That's the power that's being.
Ooh.
So like in Game of Thrones, it's like jostling for control of an empire, but the secret weapon are basically the dragons.
Yeah.
Well, this is sort of similar Game of Thrones, jostling for control of an empire, but it's the galaxy or the universe, the known universe. And so that, the kingdoms fighting for the control of the known universe, but the supernatural power that they're all trying to harness are these women who are the Bene, I'm saying it wrong, but they're like sort of convent nuns, but like not, and with these supernatural abilities. So I'm not going to give something away, but I am going to give something away.
Is this spoiler alert or no spoiler?
I'm gonna thread this needle.
Okay.
So no spoiler is that shapeshifters.
Oh,
that's all I'm going to say. Shapeshifters. And I'm writing a book about shapeshifters. So when I saw shapeshifters that has entered the Zeitgeist, I was so excited because I was like, wow, this was something that I felt like was underexplored in the world of Supernatural.
Yeah.
So this is such a well done series. Okay. It's so good. I am riveted, and I am very, very excited to see this theme of the shapeshifter taking shape as I'm writing my book series about shapeshifters. Which I'm very,
very, very, very, very excited about.
Girl, you and me both.
Yeah, we don't see that often on screen.
No, it's underrepresented, but I think visual effects are catching up with some of the places our imagination can go.
Right.
So now I'm like, oh, this is super cool to see how this is taking shape.
Well, we don't have that much time left. So I wanted to go into the health and healing.
Oh, yes.
Because this really hurt my heart when I think you sent it to me, right? About
I did.
The Black Love event.
Yeah.
So Black Love was a show, I think it's still on, but it may not be on. But anyways, it was a show that was on OWN that celebrated Black Love. And they wanted
It's a brand that continues to celebrate Black Love. Let's say that.
Correct. They wanted to bring this into real life with a mixer, and they had 150 women sign up, and only 8 men signed up. So they had to cancel their event. So I looked at the comments because they asked, like, what's good? What's going on, LA? Yeah. And look, we've both been out the game for a minute.
Right.
Been married for almost 10 years.
I've been almost 3.
3
years in the game with the same person.
Right.
Black man. Shout out to Black man.
Shout out to Black man. Mine is white, but
I just had, because we're about to go in on Black men right now. So I had to.
Well, I don't want to go in on Black men per se, because this message really is for Black women. So anyways, okay, so let's dive back into this. So they were asked the question, like, what's going on in LA? And the answers from women was very alarming, and from men too. And this one guy said it perfectly. The conversations that we have been having in the community about dating and relationships the last several years, they're not necessarily encouraging. You have it's one thing to talk about emotional intelligence and trauma and self-worth, but it's another thing when you couple that with hot take clickbait. Where it's like high value women and top tier men. There's a tinge of condescension that's in these kinds of conversations.
It's very toxic.
And
it's outrageous.
It's not cool. So if I was a single Black woman and I'm seeing all these kinds of what do you bring to the table? Tell me why you are a high value woman, all this other stuff. I'm gonna be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Insane.
But nevertheless, you have women in LA who want to meet Black men.
Yeah.
And these Black men aren't showing out.
Right.
And I think for me, it wasn't a surprise because, one, it's LA.
Right.
If
well,
you know,
you've been here, right? If
you know, you know.
What's up.
Black women in LA dating is rough. So, but it doesn't help with that. We have these very negative conversations. Right. It's giving entertainment disguised as self-help. Right. So here's what I have to say. Black women, if you're listening to this and you're single, you can and you will find your person.
Amen.
Because as you said earlier, it's all about resources. We need to stop engaging in these kinds of conversations that talk about the high value this and top tier that, and refocus our energy towards how do I find that person? And that person, I will suggest, his name is Anwar White. He's a coach. He is the only person that has acknowledged that Black women need to date differently. Period. Point blank. He's a statistician by trade, right? Like he went to undergrad for statistics. So he approaches dating from a very, I think it's empirical way, right? With data, with science, right? So he's not teaching you how to be a high value woman or anything. Right. He's telling you, hey, if you're a light-skinned Black woman, go to Hinge. If you're a dark-skinned Black woman, go to Bumble.
Oh, boom.
Yes. If you are dating on Q4, stop, because all the good men's are not good men's.
Good men's.
All the good men's are not on the dating apps Q4.
Right.
They already found someone.
Right.
So take the time to rest, recollect.
Right.
The difference between dating your dream guy versus dating your future husband.
Right.
And something that I took heart when I started dating after my last relationship before I found my husband, cast a wider net.
Amen. Listen, this is...
Okay? Cast a wider net. I am not saying If you're picking up what I'm putting down, I'm going to say this. Cast a wider net. At the end of the day, Black women, you will find your person. You can find your person. You just need to know how to go about it. And I think the first stop should be at Anwar's page. Because when I tell you this man has charts.
he has charts and data. He has PowerPoint presentations.
No, he really does.
I'm going to give a shout out to Coach Kev, too, who is one of my good friends, a dating coach. And I will put a link in the show notes. But he's one of my friends. He's an MBA turned dating coach.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So he has these sports references
He has all kinds of references. He's one of the funniest people I know. And one of my best friends, one of my most solid guys, Black man, solid dudes in my universe.
Love it.
And I love that he's doing that. He's really taking it to heart, and he's really focused on. So this is a little bit different, not statistics about necessarily finding your person, but more about the work that you need to do within yourself to change the experiences that you're having outside yourself.
Right.
So I think those two things need to go in tandem. And I will say this from the perspective of someone who had been single for 20 plus years in LA as a Black woman. Part of the experiences that I had in my earlier years of dating, which were wretched, and I was primarily focused on Black men, and not that this is all Black men because I'm with a Black man now,
right,
was that my own narcissism was leading me to narcissists.
Ooh.
I'm saying it. My own narcissism was leading me to narcissists. And I will say that. And I was doing the most. I had the blonde weave, honey. I had my convertible BMW. I was a lawyer. I had my 6-figure salary and all of my stuff together. And I thought that was what was attracting the person I wanted to be with. And on paper, I was looking for the me that was the analog on paper. I wanted that dude that was, whatever. All of those things that it seemed like what I was putting out in someone's face, I was looking for that to be put in my face. And that was what I was measuring people by, not how they treated me. Because when I got that, what I was looking for on the outside, the way they treated me was like I was nothing. Because that wasn't how they were measuring me. I was a trophy that they put on the shelf because I made myself a trophy.
Ooh.
I made myself a trophy. And if you know anything about trophies, they're hollow.
Ooh.
So I had to work on filling myself up and changing my standards from who that trophy that I was trying to put on my shelf was to how I was being treated. And that started with how I was treating myself and the standards I started to set.
Wow.
So when I changed those standards, it changed how I dated entirely.
Yep, I can see that, yep.
I met some of the best guys that I dated when I changed my dating profile. I took all my makeup off.
Right.
I cut my hair. I took pictures barefaced. And the guys that I met with barefaced pictures on those dating apps when I was doing dating apps were the guys that treated me the best. And I'll say that I met my boyfriend now of almost 3 years, walking my dog with a baseball cap on, with my hair still wet, looking the worst I've ever looked, to the point that I was like, oh. And I tried to walk away because I was like, I look so bad that I do not want to see anybody. I had a baseball cap on trying to avoid people, but I was walking my dog, and it wasn't about that. It was about the conversation we had.
Exactly.
It was about the conversation we had. And that was 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. So I'm going to put that out there. I said what I said, and hopefully that is helpful with insight. But this high value BS.
Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. If I see it one more time, I had a similar journey, which we'll talk about. We should actually have a full episode about this. But where you had narcissism, my issue was self-worth.
Okay.
And I worked on my self-worth. And I realized that, like, hey, I'm a child of God, which means, he's a king, and I'm a princess, which means my standards should feel and be as such.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to go after the person that I should get.
Yeah.
And I did a whole exercise, but we'll talk about that later.
I did a whole bunch for a year and a half with the girlfriends. We did just know a whole episode about the preparations that we made, because we did not just wake up like this. I did not air dry.
This was work.
I did not air dry myself into a relationship.
This was actual work.
To the last episode. Okay, so we have
to wrap it up. But what's your final word for this week?
My final word is, if it was easy, it would already have been done. If it was easy for me, I would have already done it. If it was easy for you, you would have already done it. So give yourself grace and understand what resources are needed between what people want you to do and what it is that you're able to do. And sometimes no needs to be no without any guilt. That's where I am with myself, and that's my final word.
I love that. I saw this on TikTok yesterday. Are you healed or are you isolated with no one around to trigger you?
Ooh.
I mean, for me,
that's a whole nother episode.
But isn't that a win-win? Because if you are isolated,
no,
you are not triggered, which
triggering
means
is growth. You need to be triggered.
You need to be triggered.
A trigger is an arrow pointing to an unhealed part of you.
Okay. Yeah. Talk that amongst yourselves. Discuss that amongst yourselves. Well, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, boo. I will see you in the next episode.
Yes.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.